Hi there, this is a tutorial on how to operate and use JetInsight for Elite Jets. So to start, we just go to JetInsight.com. Once you get to JetInsight, you'll go to the operator login. Now I recommend bookmarking this page, this login page, just for easy access later. This is the login page. Now it's already got my information pre-filled, so I'm just going to log in here. Now this is your home screen. The home screen is basically just kind of a snapshot of everything happening with the company. It's going to look a little bit different for everybody, but there's a couple of quick features here that I want to go over. So the top, this is the navigation bar where we can go to different functions of JetInsight. We've got the ones that apply to you most as pilots is going to be the home, compliance, and calendar. And then also there's tracking, which we can look. That's kind of like a flight aware to see where the fleet's at. But for the most part, the most important features are going to be compliance and calendar for you as a pilot. Now you can click here and start a duty day if you'd like. We'll get into that later. That's a feature that can be helpful. And then also the top here, there is a settings where you can go in and check settings for your profile. But anyway, let's go and start with the calendar. So if you click on the calendar, you should see all of the aircraft. And if you want to check your calendar specifically as a crew member, you can expand any of these tail numbers. So these are phenoms: 4 Bravo, 5 Alpha, 6 Alpha, and 7 Delta Romeo. And then 1 Yankee is our legacy. So if you're going to be a dual qualified crew member where you're on the legacy and the phenom, you could expand the legacy. But if you're only going to be in a phenom, then you should expand one of the phenoms. Otherwise, you won't see yourself inside of this expansion. So we'll expand 4 Bravo here, and we can see all the crew members that apply to any of the phenoms. Once you're on this portion, you can see yourself and everyone else's schedule, your off days, scheduled off days, and then you can scroll right and go through. Looks like October 13th. If you want to go further, you can select further. Sometimes the schedule isn't posted more than a month in advance, but if it is, you can always check so we can see what end of November looks like, and see that's where our schedule ends for now. Or you could just at any moment go back to today by clicking on today. If you want to see a whole month in a snapshot, another great feature is to click the third day in the month. Don't ask me why. The greatest reason I can tell you is now you can see the first all the way on the left, and if you scroll all the way to the right, you can see the 31st. So if you want to see 1 month in a complete snapshot, that's the best way to do that. And then you can anytime go back to today and see today. Now there is a glitch that JetInsight is aware of where you can look at the today function, which is today is Sunday, September 15th. And occasionally, if you look back the days behind that, there can be events that are missing. It doesn't always do that. In this case, it's not. We can see what happened a few days in the past here, but sometimes there's a glitch there, and just to be aware. So if you want to see the whole month in a snapshot, you can just select the third day of the month. You'll see the whole month. Or if you want to see something different, you can select that, and then you can always go back by clicking today. And also make sure not to turn off any of these features here. Here's where you can select your time zone. If you accidentally click one of these buttons, your schedule may look a lot different. I recommend the overview per aircraft view with all these features selected on the Eastern time zone, since we are here in Naples. So that's that. That's how you view and look at the schedule. Now let's talk about trips. So we'll use Steve Myers for this example. He's coming back today on a trip from EKM. I'd have to look up where that's at. Anyhow, so Steve Myers, he's going to have to create per diem expense reports. since he collects per diem every day that he's on a trip. So we could go to show trip and we can expand more details on this particular trip, or we can look at expenses like I was just talking about, or we can go back to overview and you can see, of course, this trip started on the 12th at 6 a.m. They went to Tampa, and it's Elkhart, Indiana, and they came back today. They're coming back today, I should say. Should be landing here soon into Naples. And we could double check where they're at from tracking. But anyway, that's kind of just a quick overview of a trip. And then we can go to expenses, and looks like they've been logging all of their expenses like they're supposed to. If you wanted to create a new expense, you would click Log New Expense, go through the tutorial. The vendor would be whoever, for example, if you bought supplies for the aircraft at Walmart, the vendor would be Walmart. If there was a hotel receipt, it would be, let's say you stayed at a Hilton Garden Inn. You'd put a Hilton Garden Inn as the vendor. And then your expense category would be, crew hotel or aircraft galley supplies, or if it was per diem, you would put per diem, whatever. So put the amount, the date, that the purchase was made, or the date the reimbursement was selected for. And then you even select the airport that you were at when this applied for your trip. And you would select that it was a operator expense for everything for us as crew members, so that's not a big deal. Now, if it's a rental car and the rental car, let's say, hasn't sent you a final receipt yet, but you don't want to forget to input this, what I like to do is select the amount is to be decided, so we don't know yet, and then you can leave the amount blank, and it'll show up in yellow. So I'll just create an example at National Car Rental, and you could put that it was under my Elite Jet Visa, my company Visa card, and it was the crew rental car. And I click Save. The cool thing this is going to do, and I don't have a receipt at this time, so no. It gives you a nice bright yellow, the to be decided. So at the end of a trip, you can go and see, oh, that's right, I've got to upload my national car receipt. Or Patty, who reviews these later, Patty and Debbie, if you forget this, which you shouldn't, you should remember when you get an email or whatever, make sure you follow up on these. They'll be able to see this, a quick snapshot. Oh, Matt needs to upload his national rental car receipt. So we've got that. Anyway, I deleted that trip because that expense because that wasn't a real one. That was just for demonstration purposes. So then, that's kind of in a nutshell how the trip information looks like. And we can also even go back and we can see the documents. So here are the releases for this trip. Looks like they ended up changing tail numbers to 5 Alpha for the 4 Bravo for this trip, or maybe it was 5 Alpha. Looks like they ended up changing to 5 Alpha. Here's the latest. So you would select that trip release, and now we can see this trip was released for 5 Alpha. We can see Jeffy's signature, Mark Evans' signature. This is Garen accepted this trip release. Here's the crew itinerary, and then passenger manifest, where we're supposed to make sure we check all the IDs and sign here. There was looks like there was a rental car that they had provided for them, and if there were any other notes like hotels, they'll put that there for the entire trip. The maintenance status sheet here, sorry it's sideways for our video, but that's always supposed to be in there as well, per the request of our FSDO. And then the passenger itinerary, that's to be laid in the seat after when you print this to go. So that's just a quick snapshot of what a trip, opening a trip does. You can look at everything associated here. So back to the calendar. Now let's say you wanted to input your duty day. You would go to compliance for that. And in the compliance section, there's a part that says crew duty log. You select that. Your name should automatically be listed here. And then you can select the month that you're looking at. So for example, I'm looking at September right now because we're in September. And every day your duty log should be completed before you go into required rest. So today is Sunday, so my duty log is complete all the way up till Sunday, which is today. And before I go into rest today, I have to make an event. It doesn't matter what it was, if it was travel to an airplane, if it was standby, if it was office work, if maybe you're doing something to help out the company, training. This is where you would put your duty day. If you flew a trip, it should be flight duty. If you were at home in Naples on standby, it would be standby. Or if it was rest, it should be 24-hour rest. Your off period, if you have your off days, those are 24-hour rest days. And then, so for today, I'll put in here. I was in the office making this video, so I'll make it. I started at 9 a.m. this morning, so that was 1300, and I'll be done somewhere around 7 p.m. So then I would put that Zulu time to start there. Anyway, when you're finished, you'll put in the remarks what it is you did. So I created training materials for the company. I would put that in, or if you were on standby, you would say standby on call, and you would say that you were standby on call. Or if you were RON somewhere, you were standby in Teterboro, you would say RON standby in Teterboro. Whatever. Just make sure it's filled out and complete before you go into rest, and let's just give an example duty off time of 2200 Zulu. There. That is a completed rest day. And if you needed to modify it, you would select the hamburger button here to edit the duty day or delete. In this case, since this isn't what I actually did today, I'll fill mine out later. You can also see future trips if they've been assigned to you on your duty log. That'll be there. Just like I said, guys, remember to make sure this is complete before the end of your duty day. And then you would go home. This goes back to that feature I was telling you about. Let's say you got to the airport and you wanted, this is another cool feature, or you started training, you don't know the end of your training. You would just click start duty day, and you could even select the time that you started, that you were on duty, which we'll just say was 1300 for me today. And now whenever you're done at the end of the day, all you would have to do is click end duty day, and it would forward you to your compliance duty log. In this case, let's do it just for practice, your duty off time, and you could put your remarks, and boom, you finished a duty day. That's another quick, easy way to input duty. Okay, that's it for now, but this is a quick tutorial on how to operate JetInsight.